welcome back to my channel. I apologise if there's some background noise. I am filming today and one of the neighbours around the back is getting some work done on their house, so I do apologise if you can hear a bit of construction noise. So today I wanted to talk to you about minimalism, and in particular I saw recently on a channel called the Torrens Family, a lovely lady called Shannon Torrens was doing something called the Minimalist Tag, and I thought it would be fun to give this a go, and also it may provide you guys some more insight into why I have been trying to embrace minimalism and trying to simplify my home. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Mel. I do weekly videos, I do a lot of minimalism, organisation, cleaning, mummy tips and a bit of entertainment, so I'd love to have you hit that red subscribe button below if that is what you're interested in. Okay, let's get straight into the tag questions. Question number one is, what drew you to minimalism? Well, I first came along the concept when a friend of mine, she had moved house a couple of times within 2 or 3 years, and she said she was quite a shopaholic, or I think she still is a bit of a shopaholic. She loves clothes and she loves fashion, but she wanted to try and clear out some things to make the move easier, and also she knew that she thought she had too much stuff. So she told me about this book she read by the Japanese tidying consultant Marie Kondo called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying, and I would periodically go through and declutter my home or declutter some of my own items, so I thought this would be a good book for me to try. I bought the online version, I bought the ebook version for my iPad, and one night I sat down to read it in bed after the kids had gone to sleep and everything was done for the night, and I seriously could not put the book down. I was up until 2 a.m. reading it. I think I almost finished it that night. I might have even finished it that night, but I got at least most of the way through it. And I just loved what Marie Kondo was saying about how simplifying what you have makes you focus on what are the things and the values and the pastimes that are really important to you. What are the things that you really want to focus and prioritize on? And I just love that concept. So yeah, that is what first drew me to minimalism. Question number 2 is, how did you start the decluttering process? Well, because I'd started off reading about the KonMari method, and she talked about categories and decluttering in categories and starting with certain categories. So the categories that Marie Kondo recommended and the order in that you should start them was clothes, books, papers, miscellaneous, and then sentimental items. So clothes being the first category, I decided to start with my wardrobe. Alright, so question number 3 is, have you ever counted all of your things? And if so, how many things do you own? Well, the easy answer to this is no. I've never even thought about counting what I own. I guess the closest I've come to it is counting clothes, because at one point I was thinking of doing the 333 project, which is where you create a capsule wardrobe of 33 items in your closet. I haven't done that, but I do like the concept of it, and because I've recently decluttered my wardrobe, I realised that in the clothes department I was doing pretty well. But there's some other things, because I have a young family now, where I think I just would really not want to count all the pieces of Lego and all the toys and all of my husband's clothes, because I actually think my husband has more clothes than me now that I've decluttered my closet, so I don't think I'd really want to do that. Alright, question number 4 is, what are your tips for dealing with the desire for more stuff? And this is an interesting question. This is something that I am still trying to get better at, because I wouldn't say I'm a really avid shopper. I'm definitely not a shopaholic, and I'm not one of those people who always needs to buy the latest version of stuff. You know, like upgrade my iPhone as soon as they bring out a new version, and I don't feel the need to or want to buy new clothes every season when there's different stuff coming out each season. So I've never been one of those people, but I still do enjoy going to the shops and having a browse. And one of my first tips would be something that I've heard other minimalists recommend, is to wait on it. If you see something in a shop that you like, then wait and see a few days and see if you still want it after a few days. Then put it on your wish list, and you may find that you even forget about it after a few days. My second tip is to maybe start a gratitude journal, or just stop and think about, rather than think about, my friend has this lovely new car, or the latest version of the iPhone, to sit and think about what you have and how grateful you are for the things that you have. So, I'm grateful for having my children. They're healthy, they're happy, they make me happy. I've got all the clothes I need, I've got a roof over my head, I've got a perfectly good smartphone. I've got the iPhone 6 Plus, and of course it's not the latest version because it's been superseded by the 7 and the 8 and the iPhone X, but it works fine, and I still film a lot of my vlogs when I'm out and about on that phone, and it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. So I will think about what I'm grateful for and how blessed I am to have the things that I do have, and that helps me in terms of dealing with the desire for wanting more stuff. Question number 5 is a good one. It's, how do you deal with the non-minimalists in your life? And I would say my husband and my son are definitely non-minimalists. And I think most kids would be, because they're so affected by advertising and stuff and what other kids and their friends have, so they always want more toys and the latest and greatest. I have a rule in place now that he doesn't acquire more toys unless he declutters some. So he knows that money doesn't grow on trees, so I will also help him to sell some of his toys, because I won't just give him the money to buy whatever he wants. And birthdays and Christmas, of course, are an exception and the odd treat, but generally I don't want him to think every time we go shopping we're going to go look at toys and end up bringing something home. So that's the other thing. I just went shopping this morning, and we went to Big W, and my son wanted to go look at the toy section, and I said no, we're not buying anything, so there's no point in looking, because I knew that if he looked he would see something that he would want, and he would ask and ask and ask me if he could buy it. So I just didn't even go near the toy section and said, we've got these errands to do, we've only got a limited amount of time before your sister needs to go home and have a nap, and when we go home we'll watch a movie or play a game together or something, just to try and distract him from that. With my husband, and a lot of books like the Marie Kondo books and The Joy of Less by Francine J, and they all recommend that you start with your own items first, and it will become apparent to your other family members when they see the benefits of your decluttering. The place may just be tidier because you're finding it easy to clean and tidy if you're the one that does most of the housework and that kind of thing. And it's also easier for them to find things because everything ideally would have its own home. And I have found it has rubbed off on my husband a bit, and particularly when I was doing the Minimalism challenge back in June, where you declutter a certain amount of items every day. So the first day get rid of 1 item, and the second day 2 items, and then the third day 3 items, and so forth. It actually had a good rub-off effect on both my husband and my son, because my son, being a child, he thought it was a really fun game, and he was learning a lot of numbers and counting and addition at the time, so it was a really fun numbers game for him to play. So every day he'd be keen to know, how many things do we need to find today, Mum, to declutter, and help me find some things that we didn't want or need anymore. And then even my husband, one day, I think partway through the Minimalism challenge, came to me and said, here's a couple of items that you can add to today's quota. And I think he could see how getting rid of some of the stuff that we really didn't need was just going to free up some space and free up some of our time as well. The last question, question number 6, is, do you have any guilty pleasures where minimalism doesn't apply? I would say toys. So even though I said in my response to the last question that I do try and limit toys, sometimes it's just hard to say no. You see something nice in a toy shop and you think, oh, my kids would look so cute playing with that, or they would really enjoy playing that, or gosh, I would have just loved having that toy to play with when I was a little girl. That would have been so much fun. And particularly in times of birthday and Christmas, I do find myself, I'll start off with good intentions of sticking to a list and only spending a certain amount and only buying a certain amount, but then I'll just see stuff and go, oh, It's just, you know, it's a treat, it's their birthday, it's Christmas, and I'll go and buy it anyway, and then we will end up with too much stuff for the occasion, particularly when you add in relatives like grandparents' gifts and things like that. So toys is one area that I definitely need to curb myself a lot more and set stricter boundaries for myself as well as for my children. Alright, so now for the fun part. I get to tag some friends to do this set of questions and carry on the tag. So I'm going to tag my good friend Rochelle Glendon, and I'm also going to tag Nikki Schumacher. She does a lot of minimalism videos as well. She's a mum in the United States who I've had the pleasure of starting to get to know. And then I'm also going to tag Happily Ever Minimal. She has some great tips and ideas on her channel for minimalism as well. So guys, I will link their 3 channels below in the description for you, so make sure you go and check out their tag videos as well once those are up. I'm so excited, I can't wait to see what their responses are. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!